McDonald's is first and foremost a real estate company.
Absolutely, in the business of real estate prices go up, all the rest of it, I could hear where he's going. But the part that is really missed is, let's say you dined out in a fancy restaurant once a month. Guess what? Now you're doing it once every 3 months. The gap is you're eating fast food. That's your comfort food. That's how you're spending less money, but still rewarding yourself if you like.
Glancing at its 2019 balance sheet, one number in particular should grab your attention: $39 billion. That's the current value of all its property and equipment before it reports depreciation. That would technically make it the 5th largest real estate holder in the world, measured by total assets. The company was able to grow so fast and reach so many countries around the world through franchising. 85% of its restaurants are owned by someone who essentially leases the McDonald's name and brand in exchange for a considerable fee. Unlike other similar fast food giants, McDonald's makes the majority of its franchise revenue from rents, not burgers. In 2019, 7.5 or 64% of its $11.6 billion in franchise fees came in the form of rent. Because McDonald's has decades of experience buying and selling properties, it knows the precise ingredients of a successful location. It shops around usually for intersections between 2 high-traffic roads, and buys space in whichever corner has the most parking. The ideal space is around 50,000 square feet, 4,500 for building space. The intersection should also have traffic lights. It then buys the property with long-term fixed interest rates. Its huge existing property holdings provide it with the most favorable deals.
So they buy the property, and it doesn't have to be at the traffic lights. Sure, there's other things considered. Traffic lights are important, main roads are important. Again, they consider what side of the road they're buying on. Do they want people to be buying Maccas on the way home, or do they want people buying Maccas on the way to work? So that's very important. And what else they look for, which he didn't specify, which is more important, a site which is easy to drive in and out of. This is very important in modern day because drive-through is about 80% of the McDonald's business. So they want an easy access, and they don't want the customer to do a U-turn or to come back. They want an easy sort of shoulder lane that you could turn into, go into the Maccas, go out. They know they could buy a site in the middle of nowhere that's not worth a lot of property, but they know what revenue it generates. When it leases out the property, it's not leasing the property based on the land value or what the next door neighbor's paying. It's asking the franchisee to pay rent on their forecasted turnover. You see the brains? The way you value a property is, yes, land value in that area is important, but what's more important is what rent that value is getting, what the income is for that property. And that's how McDonald's value goes up. All of a sudden, the land they bought for $2 million is all of a sudden got a massive income because they're getting 15% turnover, or between 8.5% and 15% turnover, and their property value goes up. And then they use that money and they buy another property. There's a genius behind it.
Depending on the value you attribute to good location scouting, you might characterize this as a valuable service or a ruthless business tactic. If a location fails to perform as expected, McDonald's can simply find a new franchisee for that location after the contract has expired, or sell the land to someone else entirely. For McDonald's, the benefits of owning property are far greater than just an additional source of revenue. It's no exaggeration to call it an entirely different business model. It understands that real estate is a far better business than hamburgers.
It's a little bit more complicated than that. I'm sure you want to know more, but comment below on what else you want to know about franchising, and I'll be able to give it to you, and I'll give it to you exactly. Because that's not the only thing that McDonald's models itself on. McDonald's models itself on innovation. McDonald's models itself on great tasting product, sustainability, brand image, family. There's so much more.